Or can you also text David that the Excel class has started? Let him join the class.
I think he was having issues today.
Yeah, but just text him.
Okay.
Just a reminder. Even if he doesn't join, you have reminded him, all right?
Okay.
All right. And if he doesn't respond at the end of the class, ask him to make sure that he watches the recordings. Hey, Mr. Chimte, how are you doing, sir?
Yes, sorry. I was late because
yes,
we have a spate of robberies in our neighborhood.
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry.
And we are from work doing the rounds.
Okay. Sorry about
Yes.
that. And you are still able
robberies,
to
so now there's lawlessness there.
Yeah, these petty thieves.
Petty thieves.
Yeah.
They steal chicken.
They steal a goat.
But the unfortunate part of it is that when we got up with a boy who happens to be
a member,
to be a friend's son, who had gone to Finland and was deported.
The was in Yishu County scholarship program, right?
Yes.
We are starting one. We are calling it BNA Africa Airlift Program to bring people here to America. As when we start, if you don't be like that one was big issue.
So is he the one back home stealing chicken?
What did the boy say? He's now degenerated to stealing chicken in the village.
No, I think the boy is on got into drugs, eh?
Yes.
You know, it's a very unfortunate situation here in Kenya because you know, for a long time our leadership did not recognize that we are bearing many children and we are supposed to take care of them.
It's quite bad, yeah. So and you are still able to join the class, so that's fine. And the apology goes to my bosses. And as I've said earlier, bosses are the students, they are the clients. Without them, we can't teach desks, yeah? So don't just apologize to me only because I'm here, but even next time when I'm not there, you apologize to Amos, you apologize to Ruth, and you apologize to David. And when that happens, just send a text to Yvonne so that Yvonne is able to cover your back. And Yvonne is an expert here, can teach Excel when you give her the instructions and authority. You know, she works under you. You are the boss here, yeah? So even if she does a mistake, I don't ask her. I ask you because you are the final authority, yeah? This is your classmate.
Okay.
Now, there's a video that I want you to watch. Video, we have spent the whole of the break, and part of the Python class, Bushuru finished early, just talking, having a conversation. So I'm going to send you a link, 8 minutes. I talked to an expert here in the US on how to outsource jobs to Kenyans and how to bring Kenyans to America here to work here. So that's very important. You need to watch it. Now, the second bit of it is where we are having a conversation with Amos, with Ruth, with Yvonne and Bushuru about the same, and they were reacting. So Yvonne will share with you. Make sure you also watch that. So I'm happy that David has joined. Welcome on board, David. Do you want to put on your video, please? David, do you want to put on your video? Or maybe he's on mute. So that is what we are doing, and that is why I'm here. Otherwise, everybody's doing a good job. The teachers are doing their part. The trainees in North America have already cleared their fees, 100% clearance. They have fulfilled their part of the bargain. So what remains is now us teaching them. And I'll encourage you, Mr. Chimite, to work very hard so that by 2nd of September, you are done with the syllabus, they have done the project, and address all their issues. For those who know my relationship with Mr. Chimite, Ruth, are you hearing me?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I told you that here only by referral first. We want to work with people whom we know and we know too well first. The others will come later. Now, Ruth, my relationship with Chemte is this. We grew up with Chemte as boys in Nairobi, and we did everything any boy can do with Chemte. So he knows me in and out. So I remember one day, one story. The class starting in just a few minutes. I'm waiting for David to settle. We started a project with Mr. R.K. Chemte. He was my classmate too. And the project was opening embassies, whatever that means. So I used to do, I don't know which university you come from, but if you come from KU, there are hostels called Nyayo. So I used to stay in Nyayo. And Chemte used to stay in Kili. Yeah? Was it Kili? Yes, Kilimambogo.
Kilimambogo.
He would come to my room in Nyayo. We have our dinner, and after having our dinner, and then there are those days when we could not afford dinner. We are hustlers. Huh? During our first year of study, we could not afford dinner. We started affording dinner and hosting people from second year after working very hard because now we are employed, student employees. So we would come to my house, or when it's my turn, I go to his room, and then we will have our story. And the strategy is we're going to open embassies. And this time, the destination is Ngong Hostel. Ruth, if you are not from you, Ngong Hostel is that hostel for ladies and rich ladies. So our classmates, our classmates were also staying there. So we just time, it is dinner time. Here we are going to open embassy in Ngong, yeah? In the process of opening embassy, we get our dinner, we go away. So we did all those things. One day we walked to Jekwat on foot, and then we are mugged. On the we walked to we went to Jekwat, and in the matatu, which we went to Jekwat, and in the matatu which we boarded, they stole our fare, and we didn't have any fare. So the people we visited in Jomo Kenyatta, we didn't find them. Those times they were not mobile phones. So we had to walk back from Jekwat to KU. Those who have been to KU, don't know those areas, Amos, you know, from Georgia to Kenyatta University is quite a long distance. Huh? we did it on foot. So as boys growing up, so this is a man I trust very much. He means what he says, and he's always very loyal to both students and his colleagues. So, Mr. Chemte, we are happy to have you on board.
Thank you very much.
With those few many remarks, please take over your class.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Allow me to leave.
Okay.
Hey, David, are you there? Hey, David, are you there?
I don't see David.
He's here. You don't see him?
No.
Let me send you.
I'm seeing him.
Yes, seeing him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the person who is not here, Bushura has already left. So Amos, check the group. You'll see that screenshot. So Chemte, please take over your class. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Although you forgot that we used to buy two fish on Friday from Dr. Namuye's residence.
Yes.
And we prepare it and we eat it thoroughly on a Friday. Okay, thank you very much. I think we will get started, and it's now 18 minutes past the hour. I would suggest that we just run through without a break, that we will finish early. I think that will be fair enough, so that I leave you people to sleep. So last time we covered something on Vlookup, of course, more advanced functions, and this is what I intend to do today. So it's going to be a relaxed class, and I think we will cover probably up to we will look some bit of cleaning. Sometimes when you get data from other sources, Sometimes we import data, and probably we would wish to do some cleanups. You prepare. So we are going to do that, and using what we call the ampersand. We have what we call the concatenate. I know these are terms that are also used in some of the programming languages that we know. So allow me to share my screen straight away so that we are able to pick up from there. So I did talk about Vlookup last time, but I just want to revisit so that we are on board. So let me share my screen. Yeah, so you can be able to see. I hope you're able to see something about Vlookup, or rather the group or data summary. There's a reason why I've called it data summary, and I'm going to explain that. Now, just to have a recap, maybe I would ask Amos. We covered Vlookup a little bit last time. Just remind me. I know we covered something on Vlookup. Did we do some lab work, Amos?
Yes, I think we did something on that.
On Vlookup, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I keep on confusing the North America class and the Africa class. So anyway, so when we talk about the Vlookup, basically we are saying it is what we call, from the word look up. You are looking up to something, and when you are looking up for data in Excel, you have to look for it in a series of cells. There is no other way. You have to reference data in the cells, okay? And Vlookup is going to do that. But what it is going to return, you look up for something, and then you are going to return something, okay? And an example which I think I may have mentioned is, take a scenario where you want to look for the name of an employee. Remember, we are using employee data, and as we talk about the employee data, I'm going to open the file that we are using. So we had employee data. Let me open up that. So what we are saying here is that we in the employee data we had the column which was capturing data on the ID, employee ID. Okay. Yeah, in fact, that's opened here. So you can see it is preparing up that. So we have this data here, and what we are saying is, remember, we have all the columns, from the left side all the way to the right, A up to N. You can be able to see that, A to N, column N. So sometimes what we would want, we want to look at data which is in one column, say A, but we want to retrieve probably data from another column, say E. Okay. So like in this example here, what we are having is we want to retrieve the name of the employee, and this name that we want to retrieve, the only information that we have is we have the ID, and we are given some IDs here. So basically what happens here is you will search for this, you will search for this number here. Sorry, we will search for this ID, and when you search for it, then it's supposed to return a name. Okay, so that name should be within the same row. Now I'm going to use an illustration, a very simple one, and I will share some data on the WhatsApp or the wall. That you can just pull it from there, and then we will use that one. Just about 3 columns and 3 rows or 4 rows for that matter. So let me share. This data here. A bit, yeah. So I have. So yeah, this is called property value and commission. Yeah, I'm going to use that data to illustrate Vlookup and Hlookup. Now, what V means is vertical. Okay, vertical lookup. Then Hlookup is also another function, and H stands for horizontal. And then we are going to see why horizontal and why Vlookup. So I've just shared the data. Just confirm that you have data which is called property, and actually it's called property value and commission example. If you can have that one on your computer, then that will be okay. I can also open it from my end so that I can use it for illustration.
You said you can also open it.
Yeah, you can also open it. Yes, you can open it. So because I also want you to do, I'll illustrate and then you do it.
I can't remember having it. Did you send it to us?
I've sent to the this Excel North America class. I just it's called property value and commission example. Are you already getting it?
I'm sorry, I cannot open it, Mr. Chemite. I'm on the road, so I'm not home. I'm using my phone and I'm on the road. But
okay,
I'll be in the next few minutes. I'll open it once I'm home.
No problem. I'll just open it from my end so that Amos, are you able to?
I mean, you're covering the whole screen. I'm trying to, let me go to view here, and then I can be able to.
I can unshare first.
It's okay. You're fine. I think I can. Let me go there. I'm now going
Okay.
there. You said you sent it to Excel, not America. Okay, property. Okay, I see it here now.
Yes. Now, Doctor, I want you to don't open that one. I'm sending another one. Let me share another one also.
Oh, so I should close this one.
Yeah, just close that one. Just close that one because we'll use it at some point.
Okay.
So let me share another one. I'm trying to have this. Okay, I've shared another one.
Okay.
I've called it Hlookup and Vlookup. We can leave this one first.
Okay, I got it open.
Okay, fine.
It's 3 columns, huh?
Yeah, 3 columns. Yeah, 3 columns and 3 rows, or 4 rows for that matter. So let me open from this end. We'll use that one for our practice. So okay. Now, when you look at this column here, I just have 3 rows so that, I mean, just have, you can see here we have 3 rows. Of course, let me say 4 because we are starting from the first row here, then we have 4. Of course, this one is including the headers. Remember we talked about the headers, eh? Now it will include that. Now what we have is I'm just using a simple example so that you can see how you can escalate into the big data set. So what we have here is, you can see this is I would say the parts of a vehicle, okay, or any automobile for that matter. So we have the axles, we have the bearings, we have the bolts, right? Now this is the number. These are the numbers. Like we have what? You can imagine we have in a garage where there is a repair going on of vehicles and so forth. So maybe this could be, axles 4, probably used 4 on the first day, used 5 on the second day, 6 on the third day. The same thing to the bearings. We have 4, 7, 8, and we have 9, 10, 11. So this is data, but this data here is numeric. Okay. Now what we want to do, we want to use Vlookup to find out something. And let me just change here to V. V, I said, stands for vertical. Okay. Yeah, V is vertical. Vertical here means we are going to search for items, vertically. Okay. When we talk about Hlookup is horizontal, and we are going to we are going to illustrate this adequately. So H is horizontal. Okay. So as the name suggests, this one is going to search for values in columns. This one is going to search for values in the rows. Okay. Now let me use an example here. And I'm going to start with Vlookup. Okay. Now, when you look at this, Vlookup that we are talking about, it has these arguments. You can see that Vlookup, of course, is the keyword. Okay. Then we have the lookup value. Then we have the range, this part in red, the range containing the lookup value. And we have the column number in the range containing the return value. And then now we have the last argument. Would you want the Excel to give you an approximate match, or you want it to give you an exact match? Okay. Now, if you want to give you an approximate match, you use true. You just have the word true, just like what we have here. You can see here, Vlookup, then we have what to look up for. Okay. Then we have the range. This part here, that's the range where you want to look up for the value. Then we have two, sorry. Then we have two. Two is the column that is going to return, and then we have false. False here means it's going to give an exact match. Okay. Sometimes you could use zero, zero for false, and then you could use 1 for true. Okay. Now let's see from this data here. Let's see what lookup will do. Let me see what lookup will do. Now, let me have this formula here. Let me remove that. And what I want to illustrate here is Vlookup. Vlookup, sorry. Yeah, okay. Now, of course, the formula will start with an equal sign. Okay. And the keyword here is Vlookup, vertical lookup. And of course, I'm going to have arguments in the parentheses there. So I can just have my cursor inside the bracket. And I want to type this. Now I want to look up for this value. I want to look up for, I want to look up for this first column where we have the axles. I want to look up for, I can look up for 4, I can look up for 5, I can look up for 6. So remember, we are looking for a value in this column. Okay. So I can have what? I can say I want to look for 4 within this column. Okay. And so if I'm looking for 4, I can just either write 4 here, or I can simply write the reference, which is A2. 4 here is in A2. Okay. So of course, when you click that, you can see A2 will be referenced. So when you are looking up for any value. Okay. Then the next argument after a comma, we are going to have the reference for where we are going to look up for that value. Okay. And I'm going to look up for that this value where in A1 through C4. You see here, I have to select the whole set of data because remember, you are looking for the value in one column and then you are returning another column. So what I will do is I'll reference, the whole of the values. So I'll have what? I will have A1. You can see A1 here. The whole of this data. So I can select the whole of this data here, like that. So that is the reference, or that is the table array that we are going to look for. So you can be able to see that in here, the second argument is the range containing the lookup value. So we have the lookup value first. What are we looking for? And where are we looking for? This is the part that we will have the range containing the lookup value. Okay. So here I will specify the whole of it. And again, I now have a comma. Then I have the next argument. What do I want to return? So you can see here, the green part, the column number in the range containing the return value. So this is the column number that you want to return. And I would want to return maybe column 3. Let me return column 3. So I will have column 3. I'll simply write the number 3. Okay. You can as well have a space after a comma. Sorry. We have 3. I just wanted to have a space there. Then I have a comma. Then we need to specify, do you want an exact value? Remember the value here is 4. So do you want an exact value or an approximate match? So we are saying we want exact value. So if the value is exact, what am I going to use? I'm going to use false. So I'll basically type here false. Or I can type what? Or I can type 0. Because 0 is false. If you change here to 0, then you will have the same results. Now let's see what's happening here. I have searched for this value here, this one, and I've returned this value here. Okay. Or let me just use a different color. I don't know what I used it this other side. I used the return value, I used the green, so I can use green here. I can use green. So now you can see that we are searching for a value in one column and we are returning a value in another column. But this value that you return is in the same row. Okay, this is the same row. So what we have here is that sometimes when you have data which contains data and you want to search probably for a particular record, then Vlookup will become very handy. In fact, Vlookup is a function that we use for retrieving. You retrieve some particular value based on another value. Okay. So vertical here means that you are looking for the values that are running within the column or vertical, and then returning a value which is in the same row. That's why we are selecting the whole data set, select the whole of it. As you can be able to see here, that you know, when you have this part of the reference, we are actually selecting, and you can see that A1 through C4 is actually selecting the whole data set. Okay, so that's how Vlookup works. You search for a value in one column and then you return for a value in another column. But of course, in a vertical orientation, because we are dealing with a column. Okay. So basically that's what happens. Now I want us to do some. I want us to do something here. I want us to illustrate some few illustrations, and I will open from my other device here so that I'm able to guide adequately. So I hope that is a bit clear now, how to use Vlookup.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not getting it. Okay, we look for a value, this is 4. And then we get 9, which was already in C before. So was a correlation?
Now, let me Amos, let me illustrate some more examples.
Yeah.
Then we will be able to get the concept here. Just okay, let me just now let me even open this one here. Now I want us to experiment with this. I want to use this column here. Just a minute. I want to. Okay. Now let's look at this. What we have. I hope I'm sharing the right value. Let me check. Just a minute. This property. Okay, let me use this one here. Now let me use this one here so that comes clear. Sorry for changing the example, but let me just use this one here. Now the one that I shared is in sheet 2. The same data set I shared with you. The one called Hlookup lookup value. Look for sheet 2. Sheet 2. Just look for sheet 2. You should be able to see these values here. Where we have the density, we have the viscosity, then we have the temperature. Okay. Now let me use this one for Vlookup, but I'll use the other one for Hlookup so that it becomes clear because I have some guide here. Now, are you able to see this data from your data set?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So we have density, we have viscosity, then we have the temperature. Now, these are properties of a chemical, maybe, where we have the density of that particular chemical, we have the viscosity, and then we have the temperature. Okay. Now, let me use Vlookup here. And what I want to do is, let me have this formula here. I have Vlookup. I have V equal to, we are just maintaining the same Vlookup. Look up. Then I want to look up for a value 1. Okay. I want to look up for a value 1. That's what I'm trying to follow. Then I want to look for it in this data set. So it will be A to the whole of this. So I'm looking for here. Sorry, I have a comma. And I'm looking for this. Okay. And then I have a comma. And what am I looking up for? I'm looking in column 2. I'm going to return column 2 like that. And I'm going to have close the bracket like that, and I press enter. Now let's see what's happening here. Let's see what's happening here. There is some noise on the background, so let me... Okay. Now I was trying to mute some background noise there. Now let's see what is happening in this column. I mean, in this function here. Okay. It is giving me a return of 2.17. Actually, the value that it has returned is this one here. Let me have it in green, and then let me have this one in red. Okay. Now remember what we said is Vlookup is used to return a value in another column, but you search a value in another column. So if you can see this one here, in fact, when I put false here, I put here false. Sorry, I put here, yeah, I put here false. Let me see what happens. Press enter. Right? It says not applicable. But when I put true, and I press enter, you can see the same value is coming back. Now what is happening is in this formula here, we are saying that we are looking for a value 1 in this cell range, and we are going to return column 2. Okay, column 2. You can see 2.17 is in column 2. Okay, and we are specifying that it should be an approximate value. So you can see here that I've said what I've said. Let me search for a value, and I'm hoping you're able to see that. Let me just take it here so that we are able to see it clearly. I can use a different one. Yeah, this is actually the formula that I'm trying to focus on. So this is the formula that I'm trying to focus on. Now let's look at it bit by bit. What am I trying to search for? For this value 1. Okay. I thought I should have a closing bracket there. Now, what am I trying to? I'm trying to look for value 1. Okay, for a value 1. Where in this reference, cell reference, and then I want the computer to return column 2. And that value should just be an approximate match. Okay. So when I put this here, when I put this here, you see the column that I'm trying to focus on is this one. That's why I'm trying to look up for that value. I'm trying to look for a value 1. But you see now, the application will look for a value which is close to 1. Okay, and that's why the last argument here is true. True here means that we are telling the application to look up for 1. Okay, look up for an approximate match in the first column. Then it's going to return a value in the second column, which is in the same row. So you can be able to see the same row here. So the value that is close to 1 is 0.946. And the value that's going to return is within the same row in column 2 is going to be 2.17. And what happens here is that the moment I put, so I made some change there. It should actually be true, yeah? True like that, yeah. We have true. Now, the moment I put false, when I put false here, you can see there is no difference. Let me put false or even 0. So you can see it says what? It cannot find any number which is approximate match, because it's not getting any match. I mean, it's not getting any number which is exactly 1, and that's why we have that. Okay. So this is what happens, and
so what I'm getting is false means exact, and
false means true is approximate. Yes, you are right. You are right.
It's approximation. Okay. All right.
Or even sometimes when you ignore, it's going to assume it is. Let me remove that, the last argument, and I press enter. So you can see.
Okay.
It assumes that it's true. Okay.
Okay.
Now, where do we use this Vlookup? Remember, I said we use it for retrieval. You retrieve something based on something in another column. Okay. So like now here, what we have is 2.17 is the viscosity when the density is 0.946. These are parameters for a substance, so to speak. Now let's have it more. So you can see here that whatever we have illustrated here is we have used approximate match. Okay, so it's going to search for that value in column A, finds the largest value, and then of course going to return. Okay, it's going to return 2.17. So the closest here is actually 0.946. Okay. Now let's change the formula a bit. And I want us to look at this formula here. You see this formula here? I want us to change the formula to this. The same formula. Let us first put this formula. Let us first put this formula here, on our computer. And once we've put, we can edit now. I want us to edit this formula here to this one here. I want us to edit this. So we edit from this formula here, and we go here. And what's basically changing here, we have basically changed the column that we are going to return, and we are adding the word true. Okay. So that we will be able to explain that. So what will happen is, I want us to, using our data set, we may not do all of them, we'll just do 2. Okay. And I want us to do this one. And I also want us to do, this one is for approximate match, and maybe you can have exact match. So I want us to do this one here. This was the first one. The other one is this one here. Yeah. And I want us to add 1 for exact match, so that we understand what really is it all about. So I want us to, we have done this, we have done the first one. So I want us to look at this, these two. So you will just have the same formula. Just have this formula on your data sheet, and then you can edit to this one, see what happens, and then you can edit this other one, and we see what happens. Okay. So I can give you this one. So let me share this. So I've also shared on the WhatsApp group so that you can have it at your convenience. So I want us to see those two formulas.
Oh, do you want us to do it?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I want you to type I want you to key in that formula for Vlookup, and then you can edit the second two. I mean the following two of them. So you key in this. Once you've keyed in, you should be able to get 2.17, and then you can edit to this other one, and just take note of what is happening. And you can also key in this one, and you take note of what's happening. It should take you 3 minutes. Are we there?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Amos, are we there? Okay, fine. I know. So what happens here? What happens when you change to this one here? What are we getting? Yvonne, are you also trying the same thing?
Yes, but currently my Excel has issues. I don't know what's wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Amos?
Sorry?
Have you keyed in the formula?
I'm almost there.
Okay.
Okay. I'm almost there. I did false instead of true. Just a second. Okay.
Once you have keyed in the first one, it will be easy now to edit, change the other one.
Yeah, so I just changed this 2 to 3.
Yeah, I can change 2 to 3, and then of course true, and then you see what it returns to you.
Okay, it stands 100. Let's see what the next one's going to be. In the next 3 false. Okay. Okay, false is error.
Yeah, it's going to give you an error.
Yeah.
Why? Because we don't have exact value of 1.
Yes.
But when you put true,
It's
it's
100.
supposed to. It gives you 100.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what happens there is that, remember, we have changed what? We have changed the column.
Yeah.
That is argument number 3. You see, you have the first argument here. Then we have the second argument, which is the reference. This one here. Let me just separate that so we have this one here, right? So this one means that it's going to return column 3. So you can see here that let me share that again. Let me share this screen. Yeah, so you can see here that when you change, remember this column was first, it was 2. It was 2, meaning that you get 2.17. So what this one meant was it will search for an exact value in this column, in the first column. Okay. So going to search for a value in this first column, and that value that's going to search is 1. So the one which is very close to 1 is this one here. Okay. You see, when we talk about approximate value, it means value which is close to that particular value that we are searching. So you can see it's going to return 2.17. But when I add this one to column 3, then and press enter, you will see it will return 100. 100 is in column 3. So you can see 100 is here. So this is 100 at that point there. So by editing this formula, it has skipped the second column now, and it's giving the third column, but it will return a value within that particular that particular row. That's why we have this one here.
Okay. Okay.
Now, let's also see the same formula, but we now change. We have changed this one to true. Now, I want us to change this value to 0.7. And then we maintain the same reference, we maintain the same column, but we write false. So what am I changing here? What I'm changing here, I simply change the, I simply change 1 to 0.7. Okay. Now this 0.7, I now come here, instead of saying true, I simply say false. Now, what am I going to achieve when I do that? I'm trying to search for an exact match of 0.7 in the first column, then return a value in the third column. So let's see what happens there. I press enter. Okay. So when I press enter, I'm not getting an exact match. Okay. What is this supposed to give me? What I'm going to have is that I'm going to have, you can see here that you are going to have an error. Is it not applicable? Yes. It's not properly referenced. So there's no exact value. That's why you will see here that it is giving me what? It's giving me an error. Okay. So it's giving an error because when it searches through this column here, there is no value which is exact. Okay. So value which is exact. But the moment I say approximate, let me say approximate, and I can only say approximate by what? By true. True. And then I press enter. So you can see it's going to return 250. Let me see where 250 is. 250 is here. So it means that 0.67 was the one which was close to what? It was close to 0.7, but on the lower end. Okay. Because when you round off this one here, it's actually going to be 7. So you're going to have that. So it will now depend. You want to retrieve which value, and do you want an approximate match or you want an exact match? Now let me change this. Let me change this one to false. False. Press enter. Of course, you'll have the same error. Now, but let me just put an exact value. Say 0.835. So let me put here 0.835. Then I press enter. So you can see here, this one is returning 150.
Yeah.
So because I've put here to be exact value. So it's going to return in the third column. Now, when I change this to 2, column 2, this argument, guess what it will come out?
2.38.
Yes, correct. When I press enter, you can see we'll have 2.38. So Vlookup is basically what? It is searching for a value in another column and returning the value in the column that you specify.
What if we leave it in column 3 and we say true?
Now, when you leave it in column, let's see. So we leave that one and we say true. So we went to an exact value, Sidio. So you want us to have the column 3, or we say true.
Yeah, that's approximation. Yeah.
Approximation. So let's see. True. Enter.
But that is true. No, that is true. You want to change 2 to 3.
Oh, okay. You want to change 2 to 3. Now change to 3. So you can see it's giving what? 150.
Oh, okay. So it's giving exact value again.
Exact value, yes. But of course, when you want an approximate, let me say false. We see what it's going to return.
I thought false is the exact.
Okay. Yes, false is exact, yes. So let me have what?
So either way, it's giving the same.
It's giving the same because the value is very specific.
Okay.
It will look for the closest match. So the closest match is itself.
All right.
Yeah. Now let's try. Let me see. But I want to mention that you see, instead of putting 0.3835, I can as well reference that value. Maybe instead of saying 0.835, I can put A7. A7 is basically referencing that value, which is still okay. It's still okay. So you can see it's not changing anything, right? So you can have this first argument as the exact number, or you can reference that particular value.
Okay.
So the concept of Vlookup is that you are looking for a value vertically. You're looking for it in one column and then return another column. Okay. Now it is possible you look for a value in a row and then you return a value in another row. It's possible. So, and that's why we talk about horizontal lookup. So we are looking. It depends on the orientation that we are looking at the value. We are looking at it vertically. We use Vlookup. When we are looking at it horizontally, then we are going to have Hlookup. Okay, we are going to illustrate Hlookup right now. But before we go there, I want us to try some more examples. You can see here that when I use the exact match, it gives me an error. Okay. Now, what happens when you have this? You are looking for the value 2 in the same reference, then we have 2 and then true. So I change this to 2 and that. Let's see what happens here. I change this one to 2, like that. The reference remains the same. Column is 2. And I have true. I have here true. There to press enter. What am I getting here? I'm getting 1.7. So you see here, what happens is that I'm looking for value 2. But that value should not be exact. It should be what? It can be approximate. Okay, and I'm changing the column to 2. So you can see it goes to this value here, 1.71. So on the left side, we are going to have 1.29, which is close to 2. And now it's going to return this one here. So I think with these illustrations, you now know what Vlookup does.
Yes.
Now coming to the employee data, yes.
So what I gather is, I think it's used if you are dealing with a large data that you cannot see the items all on the screen.
Yes.
You use it to search elsewhere, wherever it is.
Yes, in fact, you in a real world situation, you may not be dealing with a small data set like this one here. You'll actually be dealing with data like the one for employee. Let me just open this again. Now you will be having data for like this one here for employee. I hope you're able to see that employee data on my screen.
Okay.
Vlookup is we want to search for a particular record. Say when you have an employee comes around and you will ask for his or her employee number.
Oh, okay.
So what I can say is that I want to search for an employee number and probably return the ethnicity of that person. Okay. Or you can say you search for the ID number and you return the business unit where that person is working. Okay. So you can retrieve any record, and you'll find that you can use to answer such a question. And I want you to do this after this. You see, search for the name. You use Vlookup, search for the name of an employee with this ID number, this one here. Now, are we going to use exact match or we are going to use approximate?
I think it's going to be exact match.
Correct. It's going to be exact because the employee ID is unique for every individual. So you'll search for the exact value, meaning that the last argument is going to be false. Yes, correct.
0.
Yes. So I'll share this so that you can be able to try to look at that. So I think that's somehow clear. So let's illustrate Hlookup. Okay. Let's illustrate Hlookup and see what it does also, and see how we can apply in the real-time data. Okay, so we are going to use a different example for this. And I have the other one. Yeah, so we have this one here. And this one is Hlookup. Hlookup, okay. Now, in Hlookup, I want us to illustrate using this one here. Yeah, so we have, of course, the keyword is going to be Hlookup. Then we have this. The first argument, we have the second argument, which is the reference. As you can be able to see here, I can enlarge that. Okay. Now, when you look at this, we will have, this is the first argument. Okay. And this is the reference for the data set. Then this one is going to be the, this is the value that is going to return, and then we have true. Now, what happens here? What happens here is it's going to return a value from the row. So you see now here, it is the row, it's not the column, it's the row, okay? And let's see what happens here when we put this formula. We will have this. We have row 2 and then true. So let's see what happens here. I'll have an equal sign. Then H. Then H. I'm going to look for, let me change this to axles. Axles like that. And because it's a text, I'll just have in quotation like that. And this one was 2. This one was 2. And this is true. This is true. Like that. Now, what happens? What's happening here? Let's see what's happening here. It is going to return a value 4. Okay. Now, remember, we are not searching vertically. You see, the moment you are searching vertically like this, then you are going to reference the what? You are going to reference the column. But now we are referencing the horizontally. And that's why in my formula here, I have the word axles. Axles here means that you are searching across. You are searching horizontally. Remember this first argument of Hlookup is looking for the value. Okay, it's looking for the value. So where am I going to look for that value? I'm going to look for that value under this particular axles. And you can see I can specify here to be axles, or I can specify to be bearings or balls. So this is the label for this particular columns, and therefore it's going to search horizontally, so to speak. Okay, and this A1 C4, A1 through C4 is the reference, and it's going to include the bearings. I mean, sorry, it's going to include the labels, the column labels, and then it's going to return in row 2. Row 2 is this one here. This is row 1. This is row 2. This is row 3. Now let me type here so that you can understand. You see this formula is giving us 4, but let me change this to row number 3. Let me say 3. You see, when I say 3, what is it returning? It's returning 5. So meaning that this 3 is actually row number 3. Okay. Now, let me change to row 2. No, let me change this to, instead of axles, let me have bearings or bolts. Let me have bolt, or let me have bearing, bearings. Bearings. Okay, then I press enter. Is it going to return 7? So you see already it has changed from axles to bearings, and it's returning 7. Okay. Let me change to bolts here. Well, let me just say, let me change to bolts. And then after changing to bolts, I can change this one to say 4, row 4. Then I press enter. So you can see it's returning 11. So meaning that when we are looking for the horizontal lookup, sometimes we will need to have the labels. Okay. If we are specifying some value, then you will basically specify. So if the label is in text, then you have to have it inside the quotes, right? Then you are going to have that. Now, so what's the difference between Vlookup and Hlookup? The difference is in terms of what? It's in terms of where it is searching for the value. Okay, where it's searching for the value. The other one will search for the value and then return the row within a particular column. So in other words, it is horizontal lookup. You are looking for the data, but in an horizontal manner. Okay, you are looking for the data horizontally, but the other one you are looking for it vertically. Okay, but they are basically the same. Okay. We also have Hlookup. Okay, we also have Hlookup, which we will look at shortly. So what happens here is that they are used for retrieving. They are actually formulas used for retrieving. You are retrieving something based on some particular criteria, and you can specify whether it is an exact match or it is a approximate match. Now we can practice with this. So you can see here, when you change to bearings, but of course you maintain the same reference because it's the same data set, then you have 3 and false, that's going to return 7. Okay. Now what will happen when we have B? Of course the guess should be right here. Let's have B. Let's have B. Let me see here. Let us search for, we change here to B. B like that. And now, and I have here true. I press enter. You can see it's going to return 6. Okay. It's going to return 6 because It is in column A. It's just giving the approximate match. Now let me use here. Let me have false. We see what happens when I have false. You can see it's not going to find. So you can see it's not applicable there. Okay. So what does this mean? It means that when you have your data set, you really need to know the values, and this will be particularly handy when you are searching for, for exact matches, so that if you have a unique ID, like the ID number, then you are going to use that. So it's used to retrieve a value based on something in another column. So
I'm sorry, I stepped away briefly.
okay.
The string B, what is it?
The Hlookup.
Yeah, the H, yeah, that B in quotation
so Hlookup
marks.
is
That B.
Yeah.
What were we looking for?
You see here, when I had bolts like that, and then I press enter, you see it's starting a value, starting 11, because what it will do is it will search under these bolts. Go to search, and then the difference, of course, you know that, and then what's going to return is row 4, row number 4, and then this will be an exact match. That's why it is giving me 11. So you can see it's giving me 11. But when I change this to B, just B, remember B is we have bearing and we have bolts. Okay. So it's going to search across and see which one is close to B, but not exceeding B. So when I press enter like that, you can see what I had here was true, because true is just an approximate match. True, like that. So you can see it's telling me 6 because it will search through this. It will search through these labels and see which one is close to B, but on the lower side. Okay. So you can see here, the moment I put that, it's going to return 6, which is here. And 6 is in axles. So you can see here. So, but because I've said what? I've said, and I need an approximate match. That's why we have true here. Okay. So that's what we have. So this one is going to, instead of returning a column, it's going to return a row. And that's why we talk about horizontal. Row runs horizontally, but the columns run vertically. So Vlookup for vertical lookup and Hlookup for horizontal lookup. So horizontal is going to return the row, but the other is going to return the column. And that basically distinguishes the Hlookup and Vlookup. Okay.
Okay.
Now, a scenario where you would use Hlookup probably in employee data. You see now I can search for what? I can search for some value in these rows of, these columns of data set. I can search for that. Okay. And when I search for that, let me see. You can see here that let me just have this one here. That let me say I'm searching for this ID. I search for this ID here. And I want this one to return for me the department where that person is working. So what I will do is I'll use horizontal lookup. So I'm going to look up for this value here in here. Okay, I'll look for this value in here and then return the department. Return the department. So I'm going to have a formula like this. I'm going to have a formula like this. I'm going to have H. Yeah, we'll stop here. I just want to illustrate this and then we'll stop here. So I'll have an equal sign, then H lookup. Then what am I going to look up? I'm going to look up for the department. So I look for the department. What am I going to look up? Yeah, I'm going to look up for the ID, which is E04533. So I'll have E0453. I think so. It's a text, so E04533. I'll have 33 here. I'm looking for that value. Okay, under which reference? So I'm going to have what? I'm going to have the whole data set, which is A1 through N. So I'll have A1 through N. Is it 1001? I think 1001. And then I'm going to return which column? I'm going to return which one? I'm going to return row 10. Row 10. And I want an exact match, so I write true. No, exact match is false. Then I close that bracket, enter. Not referencing anything. H lookup. I'm looking for this value here. And then this is row number 10. Number 10. A1, which was this number here? 1001. So 1001. Yes. Let me try true. True. I'm not getting anything again. Okay. This is what? This is you see this number here. This is general. Now I'll look for an appropriate assignment that we will use to practice this. Okay, it's not. Now we will stop here. Don't worry. I just want to, if it doesn't work, it will still be fine. So it was what? EE.
But you gave us an assignment.
Yes.
Was it that one that you had on the screen before? There was...
not really. Not that one. That one was Vlookup. I'm trying horizontal. Now I'm seeing it has worked. I'm looking for the ID number, employee ID, and that particular reference. So it's going to return what? It's going to return E0 4533. So now this is not clear on my end, but what I'll do is I'll give you two, one for vertical lookup and another one for Hlookup, and then you can try to figure it out. That's the way we have demonstrated. Yeah, I'll just craft this properly. I've not crafted this for horizontal lookup. Then you will try that. But I want to believe that the concept of horizontal lookup and vertical lookup is somehow clear.
Yes.
Yeah. But what you need to bear in mind is that they are basically functions which you use for retrieving. You retrieve something based on something else. So depending on where you want to look up what you want to return. Okay. So I'll share the practice, the exercise for you to practice Vlookup and Hlookup. Okay.
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 So I would wish to stop there unless there's any question. I know from next week we'll just run through now, some very simple functions that we use for cleaning. They are very important when you are doing cleaning, because apparently most of the data you can import from another application, probably to Excel, and then to other tools. So we'll look at next week about that, but I'll share the assignment shortly so that you are able to work for it in the course of the week. So if you yes.
Are we going to do Hlookup?
I'll just mention that one. I'll just mention in passing because they are the same, similar, but only differences in terms of where you reference the row and the column. Because Hlookup and Vlookup deals with columns which are adjacent to each other. But Hlookup is for you can reference any column or any row.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night. Unless there's any question, probably I wish to stop there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What is the time now there?
9:42.
Oh, 9:42.
Yeah, it's 4:42.
Okay. Oh,
yes,
yes,
you're on a different time zone.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, even here in America, we're in different time zones.
Oh, yeah. I know it's a whole continent,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night, Yvonne. Have
a good night.
Good day. Okay. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thanks a lot, Yvonne. Good night. And
good night.
Good night.
Good
night, Ruth. Thank you.